Good morning.
Good morning.
Isn't this a gorgeous day? You just can't beat it. And then that music, in addition to it, just really gets you going. Welcome to Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church. My name is Steph Tacey, and I am happy to welcome all of you to our worship service this morning. It's so good to see everyone who's here in the sanctuary, everyone on Zoom. Let's wave hello. And I'd also like to say hi to the people who watch this video of the service in the future, once it's been posted on our website, huuc.net. You can also find out more about what's happening at Heritage on our website, as well as in the announcements on the back of your order of service. You'll notice we have a lot going on here, on-site and off-site. Our most recent on-site event, Books, Bling, and Other Things sale, was just held this weekend. Barb Rohrer, who spearheaded this fundraiser, has this to say: thanks to all who supported our church sale with donations and volunteer time. Your support is greatly appreciated. The sale netted over $2,500 for our church so far, and we still have jewelry and books for sale in the Great Hall. So after the service, check them out for some great bargains. You may also have noticed the bags and boxes of books in the hallway under the name tags. We need volunteers to take the books to half-price books to sell, then give the money to either Barb Rohrer or Martha Veman. And Barb is waving in the back. She greeted you as you came in. And if you have any questions, see Barb also. Thanks, Barb, for all your work and effort. So as I mentioned previously, occasions happening are not limited to being here at Heritage. Next Sunday, May 5th, there's a very special worship service planned, but it's not going to be held at Heritage. I repeat, the worship service will not be held at Heritage next Sunday. Instead, we are all invited to an all-Cincinnati UU service at First Unitarian Church, located at 536 Linton Street, off of Reading Road. The service, Deeper Than the Skin, will be led by national touring artist Reggie Harris and Greg Greenway. They will take us through powerful personal stories and songs about their interracial friendship that are guaranteed to touch your heart and open your mind to new possibilities of connection and healing. It will inspire new hope for all communities, including ours here at Heritage. If you are a new visitor, please know that you are invited to join in this exceptional experience. You will be welcomed there just as we offer you a special welcome this morning. And we hope you'll stay after today's service for refreshments and a chance for us to get to know each other. We are a welcoming community, encouraging all to find their own truth and meaning, live well, and dream big with the support of this church family. Kate Wells, a member of our Board of Trustees, is here, and she's right there in the front row of the choir. She will be happy to answer any questions and give a tour of the building, and that she will connect with you after the service. Today's service is one I look forward to each year. It's our Flower Communion service, a time when we get together to celebrate the beauty of this earth and share its gifts of blossoms with each other as a symbol of our love for one another. For love is the spirit of this church, just as flowers are the essence of this season. So in this spirit of love, let's prepare to begin today's service. Please take a moment to turn off your electronic devices or set them to airplane mode to enhance our bandwidth and to keep all the sounds we hear for the next hour or so to those of our voices, speaking words, crying babies, giggling toddlers, chatting friends, and music from our choir and our music director, Sherry, as well as our own voices. And now, let's pause. Shake the outside dust and pollen and busyness away. Help me, shake with me, shake it off. There we go. As we turn our focus inward, quieting our minds and opening our hearts. Reverend Bill will offer the call to worship after we hear a special announcement from our Director of Lifespan Faith Development, Lacey Adams.
Good morning, all. In addition to the beautiful fresh-cut flowers you see in our sanctuary, you might have noticed a different kind of plant finding its way into our sanctuary this morning, and that is our Peace Camp giving tree right over there, or maybe over there. Our annual Peace Camp, this will be our third annual Peace Camp this year, and it is going to be held June 10th to 14th. FYI, if you know someone who wants to register their kids, there is still time to do that, and you can find more information about that in the order of service. But if you want to participate in Peace Camp, either as a volunteer or by supporting Peace Camp through a financial or physical donation, the giving tree is the way to do that. Throughout the tree are ornaments full of different opportunities to support our camp, to make the camp the best possible experience for our record 18 campers and junior counselors this year. There are various items that can support the making of lunches or the baking that the kids do. There are also some special supplies that we are especially interested in adding to Peace Camp this year. If you're of a musical type and you want to support the music aspect of Peace Camp, there are also ways of giving of musical instruments that support the music that we do at camp. So go ahead after the service, take a moment to come up here, look at the very clear instructions that Molly has created for us about how to choose an item and when and how to get it to us. Know that we have about a month. We want to have all of our items collected by May 26th so that we know it's been donated, so we can make appropriate additional purchases after that, once we know how we have been supported as a community. And always, if you want to support Peace Camp as a in-person, there are a variety of volunteer spots that are short, just a couple of hours a day. You can volunteer as much or as little as you want, but we always welcome the opportunity of adults helping with their time to volunteer at camp. That community aspect of camp is also a central part of how we build connections. Peace Camp is an awesome opportunity for us to help cultivate peace in the lives of our children, the children of our community, and of us as adults who participate in Peace Camp. So I hope that you will find a way, either through your time, your talents, or your gifts, to support Peace Camp. Thank you.
We'll hear more from Lacey in a moment. The words of this morning's call to worship are from Kimberly Ann Tomchak Carlson. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there's always been a yearning, a hope for more, a desire for a place to belong and a people to care. Perhaps through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being. Perhaps someone instilled a belief in your purpose, a shared, common, yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we are together. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people who do not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to the possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. So welcome home. Welcome to worship. Thank you. Roomers, Zoomers, future viewers, please lift your spirits, lift your bodies if you're able and so inclined, and lift your voices as we sing our opening hymn, this beautiful Flower Communion Sunday, and then repeat our congregational covenant together. The opening hymn is number 44, We Sing of Golden Mornings.
We sing of golden mornings, we sing of sparkling seas, of prairies, valleys, mountains, and stately forest trees. We sing of flashing sunshine and light bestowing rain, of birds among the branches and springtime now again. We sing the heart's courageous and youthful eager mind. We sing of hopes undaunted, of friendly ways and kind. We sing the roses waiting beneath the deep grass knoll. Sing the earth's great splendor, whose beauty round us flows.
By this covenant, we affirm that
Love is the spirit of this church.
the quest for truth is its sacrament, and the service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God. And that was amen. So, Lacey has a special activity, a time for literally all ages, for all of us to partake and participate in this morning, and she's going to explain that to us now through the wonder of technology.
Hi, it's me again. I am so glad to be able to be with you this way. Even though I can't be with you in person, it feels good to know that some bit of me, even this digital me, is with you on such a beautiful, wonderful, and important holiday or ritual event as Flower Communion is. Flower Communion is one of those things that is distinctly Unitarian Universalist. And so it's always exciting to be able to celebrate with Flower Communion. I want to share with you one of the things about Flower Communion that I think is absolutely beautiful, but I need you to help me in order for you to get it. With each order of service, there is a sheet of paper, a set of flowers, a set of flowers. These are actually birth month flowers. So like birthstones, there are also flowers that are assigned to every month of the year. So if you're ever trying to sort of visually depict the birthdays in your family, one of the ways that you can do that is by pulling together flowers from different months to make a certain kind of bouquet. So As I talk, I want to start with giving you some instructions. Each of you has a set of 12 flowers and a little bit of foliage, so that you can start to construct your own bouquet. I know that they're most probably all together, so they're not separated, but you can always take an opportunity to do just a careful little tearing so that you can separate your flowers. I want you to start thinking, like, which of these flowers represents you? Either it's a flower that's your birth month, or you can pick a different flower. You can pick the flower that's your favorite color, or if your favorite flower is already on that sheet, you can pick it. You will notice that as you pick your flower, your neighbors are picking their flowers. So for our kids, this is especially important. I want you to think about who's in your family. What flowers are they like? Who is sitting near you? Who is around you? Now I want you to sort of start to share as a community. Look around. Say hi to your neighbor. Hi, neighbor. What flower represents your neighbor? Now, if all of you got together, if a couple of you got together in groups of, say, 4 to 6, I'm not saying that don't move, just like turn around and look at who's. Now, one of you can collect the flower of a couple of people around you. Hold them together. That's your bouquet. That's your small, tiny, chosen community. If you're sitting near your family, you can put together a bouquet of just members of your immediate family. Or you can sort of get together with folks around you and make a bouquet of members of your chosen family. All of our bouquets are a little different, just like each of us is a little different. Each flower is a little different. It's shaped differently. It has a different color. Some flowers are small and tiny and white, and some flowers are tall and bare and brilliantly colored. There are flowers of every shape and size and height and color, just like all of us. And certainly there are bouquets that are made up of all one kind of flower, like, say, red roses, that have a certain beautiful and brilliant look to them. But some of the most interesting bouquets are made up of all different kinds of flowers. Flowers that are a little spiky, flowers that are a little flowy, flowers that are bare, tiny bits of baby's breath, or green, rich, beautiful foliage. When we really start to put together bouquets of those around us, they remind us of our diversity, the deepness with which we have differences, and how those gorgeous differences bring us new light, new perspective, new color, new possibility, new creativity. These bouquets are a way of thinking about and about cultivating in ourselves a sense of our own biodiversity. Biodiversity is when there is a plentiful range and distinction and difference of different flora and fauna, animals and plants, and all the things that make for a healthy ecosystem. A healthy ecosystem includes lots of different kinds of plants and animals, trees, people, lots of different kinds of expressions of animalness, from tigers to giraffes to frogs to salamanders to kittens, all sorts of things, right? Ecosystems are most healthy when they are most diverse. And so one of the things that flower communion teaches us is about how to embrace all of this beauty, how we bring together all of the things that make us distinct, and how those differences teach us about how we have a full and healthy family and community. So you each have a whole bunch of options in front of you in your little paper flowers. Please be creative. Join with others to make a beautiful bouquet. Look at what others love and value, what other people use to represent themselves, and know that when you see another's uniqueness, you see their beauty, you see their authentic self, and that your authentic self and their authentic self and a few more authentic selves, that makes for our beautiful, rich, thriving, and healthy community. I love you all, and I love your biodiversity, and I love our celebration of our biodiversity today.
So Lacey and I had a little back and forth a couple days ago about how this was going to go. And so my concern was that nobody would do it, you know. Adults going to not want to tear up pieces of paper and make little flower bouquets. She's like, oh yeah, they'll do it. Neither one of us thought about the fact that no one would hear her message because of the excitement that the congregation engaged in while they were doing that. So I hope you had a good time making little bouquets, perhaps talking about your flowers. And, you know, you heard her maybe right at the end talk about she loves us and she loves our diversity. And that's what those bouquets and the ones we're going to make later with our fresh flower communion is all about. It's all about diversity and inclusion. So now Steph and I have an antiphonal reading to share with and include you in, adapted from Sarah Schur. We invite those seated here on the pulpit side of the sanctuary to read along with me, and those in the choir and seated on the choir side of the sanctuary to read along with Steph. If you're on Zoom, just pick a side or read them both if you are so inclined. And as we're reading, hold the fresh flowers that you brought with you today, or maybe your paper flower bouquet. Look around at the various flowers here in the sanctuary, take it all in, the breathtaking and beautiful diversity, and read along with Steph and me this antiphonal reading. I should also say, if you do not have a flower yet, we have extra flowers. The ushers have extra flowers so that everybody, no matter what your age, in the sanctuary could have a flower. In fact, I don't have one right now, but
Turn around behind you. You can use mine.
there we go. All right. Now you don't have one.
Will.
Give one to Steph. Thank you. These flowers we see before us come in many shades and colors.
They come in many sizes and shapes. Some have beautiful scents. Some have no aroma at all.
Yet all were created by the same miracle.
It is indeed miraculous that flowers grow every year from the perfect mixture of water, soil, and sunshine.
Our lives are miracles as well, each one.
And here we are again, gathered to celebrate the annual ritual that is flower communion.
To be reminded that all of us have value and a place in the beauty of this world.
To be reminded that where we come from is not as important as the fact that we are here now.
To be reminded that all are welcome to receive at the communion table of this church.
We come to be part of something greater than ourselves, to share in the beauty of this life.
Now, Steph, do you want your original flower back and I'll take that one, or you want to already switch? Okay. Today, we recreate a ceremony first conducted more than 100 years ago, a ritual that is now cherished as part of the cycle of the seasons each year in hundreds of Unitarian Universalist churches all over the country and all over the world, the springtime flower communion. You were invited to bring with you to church today a fresh flower for sharing. In a moment, I'll invite you to bring that flower forward to the chancel and place it in the basket on our historic heritage altar. Together, we will create a beautiful offering, a many-colored representation of the diversity of human life and human community. This tradition was begun by Unitarian minister Norbert Čapek in Prague, Czechoslovakia, a country that had been stitched together in the aftermath of World War I, bringing together many different ethnicities and cultures: Czechs, Slovaks, Hungarians, Poles, Moravians, Roma, Ukrainians, and more. A country, therefore, where political tensions and divisions were high, especially in the melting pot that was its capital and largest urban area, Prague. Chopik was the minister of the Unitarian Church there, which became for a time the largest Unitarian church in the world, thanks in no small part to its open, welcoming, and inclusive theology, which was perfectly symbolized each spring in a flower ceremony. People from all over the city and the countryside were asked to bring a flower which would represent themselves, their family history, their heritage, their religious tradition, their unique individuality. Then they would ceremonially create a single, gorgeous, diverse bouquet. And prior to leaving that morning, each person would take a different flower from the one that they had brought, weaving connections throughout the congregation and the community. The flower communion later survived fascism and the Nazi occupation, though Chopik himself tragically and heroically did not. And the flower communion has thus been handed down to UU churches worldwide in the generations since, with its meaning and its significance just as powerful today in our own deeply divided times. And so we are proud to continue the tradition this Flower Communion Sunday. I now invite everyone to bring their flower forward, place it in our Heritage Flower Communion basket, which itself is a gift and a legacy from the late Connie Booth, as together we create our bouquet. So just take that in for a minute. See how things have just transformed in the last 2 or 3 minutes? It is magical. It is a miracle. So now let's sing about all the beautiful colors of the flowers on this altar and all of the people in this world. We're going to sing De Coloris. Please please rise in body or spirit, and we'll be accompanied by our children's musicians and their director, Charlotte Laughlin. De Colores. And once again this morning, you have tremendously impressed me. Thank you. So we'll shift gears for a moment now, but not really, as we come to a moment in our service that happens but a few times each year. A moment when we officially add to the beauty and variety of the bouquet that is our Heritage Church membership. This morning, a newcomer to our congregation, though she did visit us several times about a decade ago, wishes to join the church and become a member of Heritage with all the rights and privileges, responsibilities, and commitments thereof. At this time, I invite Bethany Rogers and our church vice president, Julie Kane, to come forward. And while they're coming up to the chancel, I do want to reassure others who are considering joining the church that this Sunday morning service ritual is a purely optional part of the process of becoming a member, and that public speaking is not at all required. If it had been, I certainly would never have joined a UU church way back in 1982 when I was terrified of doing what Bethany is actually about to do. So here to introduce herself to you is our newest member. So we are very proud to meet you like that, in your own words. Thank you. Julie Kane, our board vice president, will now lead us in the new member ceremony.
On behalf of Heritage Universalist Unitarian Church, I gratefully acknowledge your choice to join us in our ongoing journey of faith and discovery. This is a spiritual community that will be here for you in the years ahead.
I choose to become a member of this church, aware of the significant responsibilities of membership and with a deep sense that I have come home this day.
And lives with passion in the present moment. We eagerly anticipate the many contributions you will make to the life of our community.
I bring to this faith community my talents and my enthusiasm, my questions and my doubts. I come seeking opportunities for further service. Together, we can build a better world. I join you in that covenant, trusting that I will be able to build upon the heritage already begun here by so many who have come before.
Bethany will now sign the membership book. Once again, welcome Bethany. Let's hear from the choir. Biodiversity of life. How we're honoring that. It shall not be killed.
That was beautiful, choir. Thank you. I'd like to share the poem Weavers of One Story by Leah Mongeri. Here we are, together, each facing our different human tasks, or maybe the same central one, to embrace the lessons life delivers, to discern and respond as we grow, to refuse harm and cherish flourishing. May we know ourselves as vessels of infinite possibility, holders of each other's heartaches and tales of joy alike, weavers of one story in which we each have our part. There are many ways to show we care. Sharing flowers is one. Becoming a member of Heritage is another. Our weekly ritual of Candles of Community is one of many ways in which we show how much we care for one another. We are weavers of one story in which we all have our part. Someone celebrating a joy with us finds their gladness multiplied. A dreamer is encouraged to realize their vision, and anyone with sorrows or concerns can gain steadiness on their difficult path when held in our love and support. There was one candle request emailed prior to the service, and I'll begin by sharing it before we invite everyone in the sanctuary who has a joy or sorrow to come forward and briefly share. The chat in Zoom is also now open for anyone live streaming to type in a joy or sorrow, and I'll read them once everyone in the sanctuary has shared. Reverend Bill will light a candle on our altar for each candle request. Please remember that you can always come up and request that a candle be lit in silence for you. And our birthday jar is available for all kinds of anniversary wishes. Our emailed candle request. And we light one final candle to warmly embrace all the joys and sorrows that we hold silently in our hearts.
So on this glorious spring morning, let's sing once more, this time hymn number 63, Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers. Please lift your bodies, voices, spirits as you're so inclined. It is our joy and honor today to give our weekly outreach offering to the Civic Garden Center of Greater Cincinnati. For those of you who don't know, for nearly 20 years now, we have given away our offering each week to an organization whose work and mission resonates with ours. Nonprofit groups that are making our world a better place for everyone, no exceptions. The Civic Garden Center's mission is to build community through gardening, education, and environmental stewardship. They talk about 3 pillars of their work: growing, nurturing, and connecting. And they're located on an 8-acre urban garden on Reading Road, which for many years was actually about halfway between the former site of First Universalist Church, us, and First Unitarian Church. The Garden Center is home to hundreds of varieties of trees and shrubs, an education center, and walking trails. Now, earlier in the service, I mentioned that the basket that is now holding the flowers on our altar was given to us by Connie Booth, a master gardener who was a great advocate for our flower communion ceremony, and who also worked for many years at the Civic Garden Center, helping to connect countless folks, including young inner-city kids, with nature and the environment. And I've asked Connie's husband, Bob, to tell us a little bit about Connie's passion and the work of the Civic Garden Center of Greater Cincinnati.
A word about that in a moment. I'm Bob Booth. Connie, when our children were grown out of the house, our daughter in college and our son out on his own, decided to get a degree in something. So went to Cincinnati Tech, which is now Cincinnati State, and got a degree in horticulture. Excuse me. She tried landscape design business, which wasn't very successful, and attitude to some of her customers left her feeling bad about it. And she also worked for several years for our Mountain Laurel Nursery. But then things happened and she decided to find another job, and a friend told her about the Civic Garden Center, whom we were at that time not aware of. And they said that they were in need of a new I'm sorry, volunteer coordinator. So Connie interviewed, and if those of you who knew Connie, you know she was a very social, warm, loving person, and so she made it very easily in to be the volunteer coordinator. And she built up the volunteer numbers to over 500. And even though there's not a room for 500 people to work at the Civic Garden Center at one time, but it was the kind of thing that she would know the people to call on when there were certain tasks to be done. And when I retired in 2005, I became a longtime volunteer for the Civic Garden Center, and because volunteer of the year in 2005. So I'm very proud of that. She loved her work. She loved being with people. She worked with a lot of wonderful people who were in the administration. She worked under, I think, 4 different directors of the Garden Center. So that said a lot for her, being able to get along with people who were very different, because they were quite different. So she retired she was there 11 years, retired in 2011, and decided that she was going to take it easy. We did a little traveling. And then she was asked back, though, to help with the book for the 75th anniversary history of the Garden Center. So I'm pleased to display this, which you won't be able to read back there, but it says, The Historian, in honor of Connie Booth.
The morning offering will now be received for the Civic Garden Center of Greater Cincinnati. Thank you, choir. Now, as we prepare for our flower communion, I invite you into an attitude of prayer, reverence, and gratitude. And I bless these flowers with the traditional flower communion prayer written more than 100 years ago by Reverend Norbert Chopik. In the name of Providence, which implants in the seed the future of the flower, and which plants in our hearts the longing that all people should live in harmony. In the name of the highest, in whom we move and who creates alike the mother and the father, the brother and the sister. In the name of all the sages and speakers of truth, all the great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the age of mutual respect, let us now renew our commitment to sincerely be and truly become brothers and sisters, one human family, regardless of any bar which may estrange us from one another. It is in this holy resolve that we seek to be strengthened, knowing that we are all God's children, and that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us. Infinite Creator, we ask your blessing on these flowers, thy messengers of fellowship and of love. May they always remind us amid our diversities of knowledge and of gifts that we are one in desire, one in affection, one in hope and compassion. This we pray in the name of love. Amen. And now everyone is invited to come forward, for everyone is welcome at this altar to take a flower from our abundance and the blessing of beauty that we see before us. Please approach the altar in a spirit of mindful reverence, taking in both the beauty of these particular flowers and the solemnity and joy of this ritual, which has been cherished by generations. During the flower communion, Kevin will show those on Zoom who are, show to us here in the sanctuary, those who are on Zoom, who are showing their flowers as well. Zoomers, I invite you to turn your cameras on if you're comfortable doing so, and take your flower out of its vase and hold it up for all to see. Let our 2024 flower communion begin. May the beauty that each of us now holds be held in our hearts throughout the week and throughout the year. Amen. Let's give thanks now for these flowers and for this tradition by singing together hymn number 76. Please rise in body or spirit. Giver of all, we thank thee. Go in peace, my friends, go in hope, and go in love. Amen. Please join hands around the sanctuary for our benediction. May the Spirit of life, that each of us possesses, flow from one to the other. May it stay with us, and bring us peace and harmony. Until we meet again. Amen. Go in peace.